We asked for viewer tips on how to fight inflation. And boy, we found out one thing: our viewers know how to save money.
We have designated the month of May as Preparedness Awareness Month.
Awareness?
Yes, I made that word up because it needed to rhyme with preparedness. So it is Preparedness Awareness Month on the channel. So basically what that means is we did a program about inflation, about what to do about rising costs. And we heard from so many of you that said, you know what, honestly, we need some boots on the ground help. We need you to tell us exactly, give us ideas, give us examples of what we can do to save money. So we just did 2 programs back to back. We did a 2-part program. We gave you 100 of our ideas and we opened it up to you and said, tell us what you think. Tell us ways that you save money. And oh boy, we got over 200 suggestions from our viewers. So in this program, we're going to give you 50 of them. Now, if you don't get a shout out from us and don't hear your suggestion and your name mentioned, don't worry. All the rest of those ideas we actually do have saved in a Word document. We're going to swing back around to this topic again sometime probably next month, and we'll do more on this topic and give you some more of those ideas in the future. But we really kind of wanted to limit it to 50 of the top tips for today. Now, all the tips are printed out in front of us, so if you see us looking down, it's because we're looking down to read your amazing tips off of the papers in front of us. Make sure you stick with us though, because these are actually really interesting, really creative ideas that the viewers sent in. And they even sent in some like DIY recipes for some items that you can use around the house. So we hope you'll be as excited about these ideas as we were. Hey, you know what? If you're just joining us and you really don't know who we are, I'm Hope.
And I'm Larry.
And this is Under the Median, where every week we talk about practical frugality. All right, let's go with Emily for tip number 1. Emily said that items at Bed Bath & Beyond that are on sale, you can do what other stores might consider double dipping, but Bed Bath & Beyond does not. You can apply a coupon to an item that is already on sale. Sometimes they will send you that coupon in the mail, and sometimes they'll send it to you via email, but you can apply that 20% off to an item even if it's already on sale. Couple of little exclusions, but for the most part, it works on almost anything in the store. We want to know from you, what are the retailers that you are shopping at that do the same thing? Kohl's, I know. We have a friend at church that she got this beautiful like $100 dress, and she was like, $285 was what I paid after all the discounts, because it was deeply discounted and she had 3 or 4 coupons she stacked on top of one another. So I know Kohl's does it. Let us know who else does that.
Kathy's son arranges his dehumidifier to drain into his portable washer. He gets enough free water to do a load of laundry every 3 days. And I might add, if you can't do that, take the tank of water that you were going to dump down the drain and instead dump that into your washer. You'll also get a free load of water.
Right. So that's the tank that is on the back of the dehumidifier.
Right.
You did this for a long time. For
Yep.
years, you would empty our dehumidifier water into the washing
That's
machine.
right. It's actually soft water, so it's good water to use.
All right, Darlene says, in my area, there is a tool library that stocks home and building tools as well as gardening tools. Annual fee for membership, $95, but anytime throughout that year, you can borrow those items from the tool library at no additional cost. And she said it's great because you know what? She doesn't have to figure out where to set aside extra money in their budget to buy these items, because some of them, talking rototillers, things like that, those are expensive items. And not only that, they don't have to store it because it is stored at the tool library.
That is awesome. Vaughn from Australia says, our 2 bedrooms face the west and get the heat of the afternoon and stay hot for hours into the evening. Our solution is to open one window in each room to help create a cross breeze, then totally block off the west facing windows with car folding windscreen shades.
What a great idea.
Placed on their side and duct taped together, then the result duct taped to the actual window. The effect to the room is instant. It makes it livable, and the room's curtains will go over the top.
Love it. Martha reminds us, Dollar Tree, don't forget Dollar Tree, even though we all know it's now a $1.25 tree. She gives us 3 examples of things she consistently buys at Dollar Tree and thinks they are really great values. A small bottle of concentrated Lysol. She gets 5 gallons of Lysol cleaner out of that small concentrated bottle. Sugar Soap Works coconut soap. 5 ounces, that's $1.25, of course, at Dollar Tree. 14-ounce Zyrtec. It's the substitute, so it's like the generic Zyrtec, and that's allergy medication, $1.25. But she said, consider the fact that at Walmart, the same type of product, it is the Zyrtec generic product. It's the Equate brand, which is the Walmart brand, $4.36. So that's some major savings. We want to know, what do you buy at Dollar Tree that you think this is a fantastic value?
Doris from Germany says, don't let your electronic devices sit in standby mode.
Yeah, that will be phantom power, guys. It is a real thing. It can account for up to 20% of your electric bill. Those of you concerned about electric bills, by the way, we have heard from a lot of you that electric bills are going sky high. We had a program that we did on saving electricity. It was more geared toward winter savings. And I don't know about you guys where you're at, but in Illinois, it's starting to get hot.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
We are like this close to turning on the central air because in Illinois, the humidity goes crazy the minute that heat comes in. So if you're like us and you're like, I don't even want to think about what that bill's going to be once I turn on my central air, no worries. We're actually doing research right now on a program that we're going to drop in just a few weeks that talks specifically about how to save on electric costs in the summer. So be watching for that.
Amber says, buy items during off season. Just before summer, winter clothes go on sale, gloves, hats, and so forth.
HB, I switched to bar soap for bathing. This is a real thing. I've actually researched this before. Bar soap lasts significantly longer than soft soap does. Not only that, has anybody heard of this? We had a couple of viewers that sent in this tip and said, not only do you want to use bar soap, you want to take the bar soap out of its wrapping and let it dry out before you start using it. And that same bar of soap with, less moisture in it will actually last you longer. Never heard of that.
Okay, Paula says, I have a large family, 6 sisters and 2 brothers. Every month or so, we trade unused food or give each other household items for our children to reuse. Shoes, jackets, clothes, and even beauty products that maybe we got and haven't used or didn't work for us.
Several of you, once again, sent in the same kind of tip and said you either get together with family or you even get together with friends for a potluck once a month and everybody brings stuff that they no longer want or need. And you have this giant friends and family swap after you get done eating together. I love that idea. We're going to turn our notes around, guys, because we had read your tips upside down on page 3. All right. Kenyon says, Ms. T says, instead of drinking less coffee, she's got Larry's back. On the last program, I said, when if it gets much higher, Larry and I are going to have to cut back on coffee. And Larry looked at me and was like, that's not going to happen. So Ms. T has your back, buddy. All right. Instead of drinking less coffee, she tells him, just get a stronger, darker blend and put fewer grounds in the coffee maker. But Kenyon has another idea for you.
Yeah, Kenyon's idea is get dark roast as beans, grind to a Turkish blend, which is almost a powder, but not quite. Use even less coffee. Then save today's grounds, place in the fridge, and the next day add 1/2 as much coffee as you usually use onto the grounds from yesterday and brew as usual. And I guess some restaurants will use this technique.
Several of you sent in this same tip, and somebody said, if it was you, give me a shout out in the comment section, because I can't remember who sent this tip in and said your father or grandfather actually owns a high-end restaurant and does the same thing. Saves the coffee grounds until the next day, adds a little extra coffee grounds on top, and then brews as usual. Tan says, when money's super tight, I just redecorate. She takes her stuff, moves it around the house, and it makes her feel like she's got a new house. We did this all the time when the kids were young. We'd just get one or two really inexpensive new like things to set out, and we'd redecorate the whole room, and we'd get everything moved around, and we would look at each other and say, "Oh, it makes the room look so much bigger."
It just opens up the room.
It opens up the room so much. Tell us if you guys do that. It really does. Doesn't it make you feel better just to move your furniture around? Even if it's the same furniture, it feels like it's a new room.
Kim says, we had a timer on our hot water heater. It came on at 4 a.m. and off at 9 a.m. Then it came back on again at 3 p.m. and off at 8 p.m. It was off all the rest of the time, and that saved them a ton of money.
The Laundry Fairy, which I really like that name, by the way, she said, don't buy things on credit. Instead, save up and buy quality. High-end quality items, although they cost more up front, will ultimately save you money in the long run. We totally agree. We are totally in that camp with you. We've said that before on the channel, and I think quality counts. It does.
Katrine Nordland says, my tip to get entertainment, goods, or experiences, etc., without breaking the bank would be to find out if you can do volunteer work or in exchange for return favors. For example, I work as a librarian, but I studied music at university and now write a lot of program notes for our local symphony orchestra and always get tickets in return, resulting in a lot of free trips to the symphony, which I absolutely love. Way to go.
So does Larry. He loves the symphony.
Yeah.
Barbara Fowler says, when drying clothes with a dryer, you can cut down significantly on dryer time just by placing a clean, dry towel in with the heavier items.
I would have never thought of that one. KS says, we have started to collect cans and bottles while we walk our dog. So far, we made $40 during the last few months, and we also pick up all kinds of stuff from the curbs in our neighborhood. Some things we sell, others become gifts, some we keep for ourselves. Things we absolutely need, we buy used or ask friends and family if we can borrow.
We have picked up many a treasure from the curbside. I'm just going to say that.
We're not too proud.
Lucina says, I tell people when I'm going to make larger purchases, and sometimes they have just the thing I need and they just give it to me. Or they kind of keep watch for her and give her a heads up when they see that item on sale. She also said, advertise your side gig. Don't be afraid to let your friends and family know. If you got a side gig, let them know you have it. She performs weddings from time to time. And then during wedding season, she tells all of her friends and family on Facebook, don't forget, let all your, if you get somebody getting married, I do weddings.
D Cupcake says, we don't have children, but we do have a dog. Way to go. I made homemade treats for her and spend a lot of time walking with her in our neighborhood or parks close by.
She also shops around for her dog's monthly preventative medicine, but she said, do your research first. Know who you're shopping with and make sure that they are reputable. She suggests Chewy. It's a company, I've seen them advertise on Facebook and stuff a lot, and she said Chewy's a great company to do business with.
And Terry says if you have pets, make your own flea shampoo or flea yard spray.
All right, here's her DIY recipe, guys. Listen up.
It's vinegar, Dawn, and water in equal parts. Who knew?
I know. If you use that, tell me that if it's really effective. All right, Shirley says, don't be impatient. This is great advice, but she gives this is her practical application. It's time for story time from Shirley, you guys. All right, this is a great story. I needed some unwanted trees cut down, but kept trying to figure out a better way. See, delayed gratification, not be impatient. I saw my neighbor cutting a tree down, and I worked out a deal where he cut down a bunch of my small unwanted trees for $250. She checked with a tree cutting company and it would have cost over $1,000 to hire them to do the same job.
That is a good deal. Jill says, I reuse foaming hand soap dispenser. It only takes about 2 or 3 tablespoons of Palmolive and water to fill the entire bottle, and then you are using less soap per wash. And using Palmolive is much cheaper than actual hand soap when it's being used, and it's very gentle on your hands.
Colette says, ladies, watch out for the pink price at the store. Buy men's razors instead of the same brand ladies' ones. The men's is almost always cheaper. The same thing with soaps, shampoo, and deodorant. Colette, I love that like so much. Watch out for the pink price. I am so gonna use that from now on. I love that. Watch out for the pink price. Kind of says it, doesn't it?
That's something I wouldn't have thought of. I love the name on this one. The name is She's Running Away. That's her name. Okay. Anytime I am driving, I make sure I use the USB ports in my car and charge my cell phone, my portable charger, my Garmin watch, etc. So I don't have to use my home electricity to charge it. She must do a lot of driving.
I was thinking that. Yeah, she must drive for work or something. What a great idea, man. If you're on the road 8 hours, you may as well line up all of your stuff that needs to be recharged and just plug it in. One thing gets to 100%, plug the next thing in.
Yeah, that's a great use of it. I do take one of my portable battery chargers and I'll charge it off of my work computer. It's already on anyway, so I'll do that occasionally. But that's an excellent idea.
Speaking of recharging things, I know. So we have an upcoming program. This is your free look into the future on Under the Median. We're going to do a program where we talk about what kind of things you might want to have on hand for weather-related outages. It's spring in Illinois, which means we're going to get pretty quickly into that season where you get pop-up really severe thunderstorms, you get tornadoes coming through, things like that.
Yeah, it's severe weather season.
And
here.
A lot of you wanted to know, please tell us what you have on hand and have ready to go for emergency backup power, charging, recharging stuff, using solar, stuff like that, portable power stations, all of that. We're going to take all of our stuff out and we're going to show you everything that we have. That's coming up, I think on the 23rd. So it's coming up pretty quick here.
Yep.
So be watching for that. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed and you hit the bell notification button, will you? Because then YouTube's going to let you know when we drop a video. Speaking of, favors you can do us, if this is helpful, guys, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, will you? All right, back to our list. Vicky says, when you're done with pickles or really any pickled item, keep the pickle juice to use in sauces or just go ahead and cut up some cucumbers, put them in there, and you're repickling the cucumbers by putting it in the pickle juice.
Oh.
And if she wants to spice it up a little bit, she adds a little bit of jalapeno juice, which I would do.
Gales, take advantage of freebies.
All right, Gail gives us examples, guys. I'm going to give you Gail's examples. There are a couple of times a week where outside of her food bank and thrift store, there'll be free food and beverages for anyone to take. I've gotten cases of fruit beverages, huge bags of flour, and in the summer she gets fresh vegetables. Also, she's got little free libraries in her area. Anybody else have little free libraries? Tell us in the comment section if you do. We do. We have a bunch of them in our town, and we absolutely love them. So they're wooden boxes on posts, and they have hinged front to it, so it closes. So it's closed off from the weather, basically. But inside, there are all of these books that people donate, and you can go and you can, basically, it's a take a book, leave a book kind of idea. You take a book that you're done with, and you leave a book that you're finished with, and then you take a book that you'd like to read.
Yeah, I dropped off about a dozen books at one of these places. It's great. Nice to share your stuff.
Okay, more free examples from Gail. I loved this because Gail's got a lot of free stuff in her area. She goes to free barbecues, typically hot dogs or hamburgers, special events. At special events in your area, you'll get basically a little free lunch. She also lives in an apartment complex. There's a designated area for people to leave unwanted items. Gail has gotten, she's gotten small appliances, vintage dishes, tons of craft supplies, Christmas items, movies, CDs, books. She's gotten a whole bunch of stuff. Gail, you rock when it comes to finding ways to get free things in your area, and we want to know. We want to come hang out with you, Gail.
Laura says, ask your employer if you can work 4 10-hour days instead of the typical 5-day work week. Then both you and your employer benefit from this arrangement. One thing I can see right away from this one, it will save you some driving to work by not having to go that 5th day.
Or see if there are some days where you can work from home. That's becoming so typical that employers are saying, just come in 2 days a week to the office, and then the other 3 days you can just work from home.
Yeah.
Laura also says when you're cooking vegetables, I thought this was a great idea. Make sure that you're cutting them really small pieces. She said specifically for like potatoes, cut them really small. You're going to put them in the warm water, bring it to a boil, and then literally once it comes to a boil, turn the heat off, put the lid on the pot, walk away. 20, 30 minutes later, you have perfectly cooked potatoes or vegetables, and you've cooked them all in the residual heat.
Check to see if you qualify for a discount on your electrical bill. My daughter uses a CPAP machine, and because of that, we qualify for a medical baseline rate, which can be a huge savings.
I've never, ever heard of that. I don't know. Tell us if you think your utility company offers that, because that would be an amazing, amazing opportunity to get a lower electric rate. Don't forget, when it comes to summer electric rates, we're going to do a program in a couple of weeks here about how to save on your energy costs. Here are some more ideas from Laura. She said, you know what, instead of going to the movies, don't do that. Wait for it to come out on DVD. And if you really want to get something interesting and inexpensive, try a Roku. Anybody else have a Roku? We don't, because I explained last week that we found out our smart TV has channels we didn't even know it would have. But she got one, $20, attaches the TV, 0 monthly costs. This was really great too from Laura. Call your internet provider and ask for a lower rate. She did this. Listen to this, guys. This deserves one of my drum rolls. This is how good this tip is. All right. She called, said, hey, can I have a lower rate? They lowered her monthly rate from $90 to $45. No, $50 to $50. She got almost a 50% discount just by asking.
That's a good reduction.
It's a really good reduction.
Yeah. She also says if you pay for Amazon Prime, use it well. Remember, with Prime, you can watch free movies and shows, read free books, listen to free music, and I think they do something with photos too.
Yeah, so make sure, if you're going to buy a membership, make sure that you know everything that is included with that membership. I think that's the whole idea of that tip.
Yeah, the idea is to use it to its maximum potential.
Absolutely. Vicky says she's got an area in her house, is a designated area where she dries all of her fresh herbs in the summer.
Taylor says, for kids' lunches, or anyone's lunches really, on Sundays, she spends about an hour packing half-size 4-ounce jelly jars with lunch items for the week. She also bought an $8 sandwich mold on Amazon to make her own PB&J Uncrustables. Those things are like $1 each now.
They're so expensive.
I buy a loaf of Wonder Bread, bulk size PB&J, and I use a rolling pin to flatten the bread and patch any holes, and voila, Uncrustables for picky eaters, especially picky kid eaters, for 20 cents each. That's awesome.
I have to say, I remember when Uncrustables came out, and I seriously don't know if any of you reacted like this, but I was literally in the grocery store and I saw them. I'm like, so basically they're little kind of semi-flattened, crimped at the edge, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on white bread. That's what they are. And I thought, oh, how much can they possibly be like charging for these? And I picked up the box and I was like, it did come out of my mouth. Sometimes stuff just flies out, guys, of its own volition.
Watch out.
I said, you gotta be kidding me. I don't know. People around me, if they saw I was holding their Uncrustables, they probably understood what I was emoting about.
Do you know that when I went backpacking, my older brother Dave recommended that I buy pita bread, and then I took peanut butter and jelly and filled up these plastic tubes that you get from a backpacking supply house. And then I would just squeeze those. I would take the pita bread, break it in half, squeeze a little peanut butter and a little jelly. Basically had the same thing as an Uncrustable. A lot cheaper too. So
Taylor says, make your own instant oatmeal. Okay, so we actually did a video on this where we showed me making instant oatmeal. I'm going to see if I can figure out what video it was, guys, and I'll put a link to it in the description of this video.
Doesn't it just boil down to you put the oatmeal in a blender and just give it a few shots?
Yeah, well, the only difference between, regular oats and instant oats is the size of that it's cut up in. And
right.
Literally, that's the only difference.
You just chop up the oats and you got instant oatmeal. That's pretty much it.
Okay, this next tip is speaking our love language. Staycations are nice if you want to get out and travel. Go camping.
Oh,
Larry and I camped on our honeymoon, and
we did a lot of tent camping.
We did a lot of tent camping.
Oh, yeah.
Over the years. And she's right; it can be done very inexpensively compared to what you're going to pay to stay in a hotel. Mm-hmm. Barbara says our local gas was about 50 cents higher than gas stations along the interstate. So when she was traveling to and from work, she passed these gas stations on the internet that were 50 cents a gallon lower than what she was paying in town. So she stopped at those gas stations every day. Always know where to find the least expensive gas, guys. Gas Buddy will tell you where the cheapest gas is in your town.
Yeah, I got gas 20 cents a gallon cheaper by using Gas Buddy just this week. Karen says, I trained as a beautician and worked until I had my first child. I always kept my license so I could buy at the local beauty supply stores. Mm-hmm. Our local Sally's will sell to the public bulk shampoo and conditioner, and it's good quality and cheaper.
We have a Sally's in town, and I have to tell you, Karen, I've never set foot in there. But when I read your tip, I thought, it is clear to me that I need to see what our Sally's has for sale because it sounds to me like you can get good quality products for a great price there. Jeanette, y'all, is all about her freezer. She gives us freezer tips. You ready? All right, get ready to take notes. Freeze leftover tomato paste. Do it in ice cube trays. Freeze pizza sauce, pasta sauce, any kind of tomato product. Freeze bananas. Yes, which is a great idea. You can freeze them. I take the peel off. Guys, tell me in the comment section, when you freeze bananas, are you a peel on or peel off person? The peels turn black when you put them in. It doesn't make them go bad.
Yeah, they're not very appealing.
I take the peel off. Not only am I a peel off person, I may take the peel off and slightly flatten it person, but only because then you get more bananas in the freezer because they're slightly flattened. So just tell me. Freeze lemon juice in ice cube trays. This is if you ever get a really great deal on fresh lemons or limes, you can juice them, put them in ice cube trays. An everyday use common ice cube tray, like the normal size ice cube trays, are 2 tablespoons per cube, just so you know, for future use. But that's like a super great idea, and I've done that a lot. I also tend to zest them before I put them in the freezer, and then I find something clever to do with all of the zest. You can probably freeze the zest too, I would imagine.
Diane says, I always buy the biggest can or jar for the dollar amount of tomato paste. Use what I need in a recipe and freeze in tablespoon or recipe-sized amounts. I get a plastic bag and put spaced apart tablespoon segments in it. Lay flat to freeze and ta-da! Defrost quickly, so don't leave the full bag out. Just take out what you need.
That's a super idea. All right, we're going to turn the page, guys, to the next page of tips and ideas. Beverly's next up. She says, consider replacing shampoo and conditioner with baking soda. This is another DIY recipe. Ready, guys? All right. Put a couple or 3 tablespoons of baking soda in a recycled salad dressing bottle. Then fill up the bottle the rest of the way with warm water. Shake it up, squirt it into your hair, work it in, and then rinse it out with plain water. Beverly has been doing this for 2 years now, and she said there is no going back to shampoo. I know a lady that actually does this, and she said the same thing. She could not believe it worked, but she said her hair has never looked better.
Well, that's great. Yeah. Lori says, I don't know if this is the same for every state. I live in New Hampshire. If you work in a different city or town from where you live, you can get a free library card to the city or town's library. Every library has different free passes to museums, parks, etc. They also may have more books, movies, or programs that your local library doesn't offer. All you need is a pay stub proving where you work. We have cards to 3 different libraries because both my husband and I work in different towns than where we live. That's great.
All right, we got to know, guys. We're going to ask you, is your library system like this? Now, we have interloan library, so we have a library card from our town, but all of the towns around us, I can go there and I can borrow books using my library card from my town. So it sounds like she's getting a lot of ability to interact with that library system that normally she maybe wouldn't have. Jeanette found out the same thing recently, and I put her tip in because Jeanette has rocked this idea. All right, she found out her library card. She can have access to all the libraries in her county and the neighboring county.
Wow.
Here's what she did during the month of May, guys. Just this month, here's what she's done. She participated in a book club. She got to watch several movies. She got to watch West Side Story, Downton Abbey, the movie part 1. I haven't even seen that. I've been waiting to see if I can find it someplace to watch for free. Cyrano, Belfast, etc. So these are like up-to-date movies she's getting to watch. She participated in a workshop on learning how to compost, and also taking care of perennials, a Cinco de Mayo presentation where they each made their own bowl of guacamole and a mocktail. And she also signed up for a workshop on wills, trust, and estate planning. Jeanette, man, you rock. You're getting the most out of the opportunity to participate in programs at libraries in your area. Oh, and by the way, she also found out that they have free tickets to a variety of museums and parks within her metropolitan area. Y'all,
Wow.
I gotta say, if you're looking for thrift, you look no further than your local public library. We are a huge, huge fan of local libraries. Now, if you missed our first 100 tips that we gave in this series, no fear, I created a playlist with those. That playlist is right over there. You can click on it right now and you can go catch those first 100 tips.